another another big week really in sports. I mean the playoff games that happened last weekend, and I mean between the Tom Brady retirement 2.0. Before we get into the show too far, we're gonna go ahead and extend our promo contest to next Saturday. You can still enter, same way we said last week, by liking our Facebook page or following our Twitter and liking and sharing uh, either last week's stream or this week's stream. I'll be able to pay attention to both those. Um, so make sure to get your name in the hat. Next Saturday is going to be 100% the cutoff for it. So make sure to get your name in the hat. That way you can get your hands on a 2022 Big Ten Championship T-shirt. Um, but now we'll get in the show. Before we get into it, Brady retirement 2.0. Seems about this time last year was the exact time he announced it last year. Um, I mean, I'll go ahead and I'll play the video real quick. I really hate doing this.
Good morning, guys. I'll get to the point right away. I'm retiring for good. I know the process was a pretty big deal last time, so when I woke up this morning, I figured I'd just press record and let you guys know first. So I won't be long-winded. Like, you only get one super emotional retirement essay, and I used mine up last year. So really thank you guys so much for supporting me, my family, my friends, my teammates, my competitors. I could go on forever. There's too many. Thank you guys for allowing me to live my absolute dream. I wouldn't change a thing. Love you all.
So, I mean, first thoughts. You can tell it's emotional to him still.
Yep.
Probably not something he wanted to do. I mean, he's a competitor, but it was something that was needed to do.
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple things, you and I have talked about it before. I don't know that we've talked about it on the pod, but I feel like we'll probably never know, but I feel like he retired against his will last year in a last ditch effort to please Giselle and probably try to save their marriage, and either the writing become on the wall that it was too little too late, or he decided he just could not walk away. And I guess it could have been a somewhat combination of both, because he was retired 30 days, 40 days, in a time that didn't matter, right? It was between the Super Bowl and OTAs, and it's pretty easy to stay retired when there's nothing going on. I believe 100% he's done. 99.9%, I guess. There's a lot of people that think if San Francisco comes calling or something, he's done. But
that's about the only place that you could see him going, honestly, though, at this point.
Home. For sure. But statistically, he was pretty strong, right? But I've seen him throw more balls in the dirt. Just the arm strength's not there. It's going. And the guy's 45, 46 years old, whatever he is, 45, I guess. So I get it. He's done it longer than anybody, better than anybody.
23 seasons.
Yeah. So, he's playing against guys this year that weren't even born when he was in the NFL. That's a pretty remarkable feat. So, I think, hats off to him. Everybody that knows me knows how I feel about him. What they don't know is up until like 2 years ago, you were a Tom Brady hater.
Okay, it was back in like 2012, and people do know that. Thank
you.
It
was not 2012.
Yeah, it was. It was after they. Yeah, it was 8 years ago.
No.
And actually, it was a little before that, because it was right before fucking the Seattle Seahawks should have.
I really wish I would have saved this, because just a few days ago, on your old account that's deleted, right, that you can't see you, I tagged you. It come up in my memories, and it was either 2017 or 2018, and you were woofing on Brady then. So
You do realize that was like 7 years ago, right?
yeah,
6
but you're
years ago.
saying 2012.
It was whenever they. It was whenever they almost. I don't know. It was whenever they beat fucking Seattle. It was a little
For
bit. It was like a
for
year or
three
two before that.
quarters of Brady's career, you were a hater.
Okay, well,
That's the
I
bottom
was
line.
brainwashed. I'm sorry.
Right. That doesn't matter. The truth is the truth. But you know what's funny is that I forget who it was. It might have been Shannon Sharp, but it might not been. And I can't stand him. Anyways, I put him right with Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith. They're just loudmouth screaming, trying to get views and clicks. But said that they didn't even think he was a top 10 quarterback ever. And I'm like,
Still,
still,
he's been to 11 Super Bowls.
right.
Won
You know,
7.
2 years ago, he had been to or played half of the Super Bowls, I think it was.
Yeah, it was some crazy ass stat like that. With
And they're like, well,
probably
he the only reason he got more Super Bowls is he played longer than Montana. Well, I believe he was one ahead of him at the same age, and I might be wrong on that, but that's part of the game. You got a million guys that play 2, 3, 4 years in the NFL, and would have been great. And something that not that I had opportunity to come back at him. Well, I probably did because I'm pretty sure it was on Twitter. But Shannon Sharp's brother Sterling played for the Packers, was way better than Shannon. I don't think Shannon's a Hall of Famer. He's in the Hall of Fame, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. His career was cut short by a neck injury, right? And he was a certain Hall of Famer, but I think he only played 5, 6, 7 years. So that's just part of the deal. That's what makes, to me, what Brady has done even more so. And I think that speaks for the case. I don't think there's any debate who the GOAT is.
Oh
You
no, I
can talk
mean,
about Joe Montana, but there's a lot of people Bradshaw about this, that. No. If anything, there's two people. It's Joe Montana. But anyways, Brady has won. He's played at a very high level for all these years, and this year statistically was, I think, his second best season ever. And you posted a thing on the Tall and Taller page of his stats by 20s, 30s, and 40s, I think. And
yeah, his stats in his 40s have been better than. I mean,
yeah,
his stats. I mean, in less time, wasn't it? Because he was 21, 22 when he came out of college. 23
yeah,
maybe at the
yeah,
most. So it's 7 years compared to 5 years in his 40s. I mean, and his stats were better now than they were in his 20s.
right.
And obviously his 30s were just fucking absurd. The numbers that he put up.
So yeah, I think he's probably done. And I think probably pretty early in the season he regretted coming back, but he's not the guy that's gonna walk away.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. He doesn't want to retire. I mean, he doesn't want to, but I think he knows that it's time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Also doesn't.
Physically, it's just not there. He's starting to see what most guys see in their mid to late 30s. Aaron Rodgers is a good comparison. He's 6 or 7 years younger than Brady, and you kind of notice the same thing with him. You noticed it at the end of Peyton's career. Peyton was really bad, I thought, but Father Time's undefeated, and that's kind of the bottom line. But hats off to him. Hope he enjoys his little Instagram model and doing whatever he wants to do. And of course, he signed that big
I forgot
contract with Fox.
completely forgot that he signed that, and I fucking read it the other day, and I was like, "What was it, 9 years, $375 million?" I was like, "That's absurd."
Yeah,
But it's Tom Brady, so whatever.
right. And I'm not even that sure that he's like he doesn't. Well, let me pre-qualify it with this: is that we've seen a lot more of Tom's personality since he's been in Tampa Bay than all his years in New England, and that was probably a Belichick thing. But and he's had his funny moments, drunk Tom throwing the trophy during the Tampa Bay Super Bowl parade is
that just popped up in my Facebook feed the other day. I kind of
is
forgot about it.
is an all timer, right? But he doesn't have the personality of say Peyton Manning, or doesn't appear to be. So I'm not sure that he's going to be great on TV. Sure, his intellect is there.
Just get a few Mai Tais in him. He'll be good.
Yeah, but he always struck me as a guy that would be more likely to run for political office than to jump into sports commentary.
Yeah, and even though this might sound crazy, I mean, it to me, he seems more like a coach. Like he would get into coaching or something like that. Maybe not a head coaching job, something like that, but like a coordinator. Just because he is a leader and always has been a leader on the teams. I mean, you hear back in Super Bowl against Falcons, that team, you hear the mic'd up stuff of that thing, and that him and Edelman, well, I think probably the only ones that really didn't give up that early was telling people, "Hey, we ain't out of this game." But I mean, dude's competitor. I mean, I got some career accomplishments and records here. I mean, he owns pretty much every major quarterback record in the book. Most comeback wins, 46. Next closest is Matt Ryan at 38. Most game-winning drives with 58. Best QBR of all time of 8.70. I'm sorry. Most regular season passing yards and touchdowns, with 89,214. The next active player is 20,000 behind him.
Right.
Drew Brees, obviously Drew Brees trailed him by 9,000, but I mean that was really up to what, 3? His first year in Tampa Bay, he broke Brees' record.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Most playoff passing yards with 13,400. Peyton Manning's the runner-up, 7,000 behind that.
Right. That's what's most impressive is that the guys he's in front of are greats, right? Hall of Famers, best of the best, and he's close to doubling their stats.
It's crazy, especially I'll go to this next stat. This almost makes me think this has got to be a fucking mistype, but I don't think it is. Tom Brady, most playoff touchdown passes. Tom Brady, I got to double check this, but Tom Brady 649. That's got to be a typo, right?
Yeah.
Drew Brees 78. There's no fucking way. That's got to be a typo.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Yeah, no, because he only has. Yeah, no, he doesn't even have that many in his career. Yeah, that's a typo. I wonder what the fuck it is though.
It's probably 63.
Well, no, because Drew Brees is the runner up at 78.
Who knows? Maybe it's 90 something.
How the hell? That's why I was like, there's no way he has 640. And I looked at that thing I posted and I was like, that's about what he has in his career.
Right.
Yeah, that's what he has in his career. So whoever typed it up mistyped it and accidentally put it was some side company, I don't know. Yeah, so I'll look that up in a second and find out what that is.
88.
Where the fuck did you? I mean, I know where they got the 649 from, but Jesus.
Yeah, someone was probably thinking career when they met.
Yeah. Tom Brady, most playoff games played in 48. Next runner up is Adam Vinatieri at 32. Tom Brady got most Pro Bowl appearances 15. Most Super Bowl games played in. Sorry, he played in. I thought he played in 11. But I guess
I
not. He
think
played
that's
in
right.
10.
I think he's
He played
7-4. He lost 2 to Eli.
and 1 to Philly, and then 1 to. No, he's 7-3. He only lost 3, 2 to Eli, 1 to the Eagles.
That's it. I mean,
Yeah, he's.
believable, I guess, you know.
Oh yeah. Most Super Bowl wins, obviously 7. Has more than any program there, any NFL team out there on his own.
Right.
I mean, he definitely is. I mean, we talked about this. I know this is a little bit of deja vu from last season. We know. I think we talked about a lot of this stuff then. But I mean, just I posted another thing on our. Did you see the other thing I posted on the Facebook page? The end of an era. I mean, this is really the end of the good quarterbacks of this NFL from when I was officially like really started watching the NFL and
Right.
following the NFL with, like I said, Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, well, the Manning brothers, Drew Brees, Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, the only reason I don't throw Rodgers in there is because Favre was there when I started working and watching
Right.
more. Favre was still in Green Bay. But I mean, you can by all means throw Aaron Rodgers in there, but I think he's on his way out too.
Yeah, I think he's got 1 or 2 years left, and you know, it sounds like
Green Bay don't want him.
He'll either end up with the Raiders or San Francisco, I think. But
Let me go there. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, San Francisco in the past fucking 3 seasons has one of the most fucked up quarterback situations, and somehow it's worked the fuck out for him.
Right.
I
I'd almost be
mean,
nervous going there. You know, a lot of their stuff has been fluke freak stuff, right? But you know, to be in the conference championship and be playing on your 5th string quarterback.
oh yeah, when Christian McCaffrey almost has to come into the game to play quarterback,
Right.
you're kind of in a really shitty situation. But
Yeah, Jimmy G took him to a Super Bowl, right?
they've been to 3 of the last 4 NFC Championship games.
Yep. So they lose him. It goes down to get to Brock Purdy. He's rock solid. They're like, hey, Brock Purdy's our guy. He's gonna have to have Tommy John surgery, tore his UCL.
Yeah, well, I mean that's my question: is next year, who the fuck do you keep on your roster and who do you let go?
Right. Well, it sounds like they're shopping Jimmy G, which is
Well,
probably
you shot Jimmy G, but who do you start between? What's the young gun?
Brock Purdy.
Not Purdy. The one that they drafted. It's not Love, is it?
Yeah, I think it is Love. No, Love's in Green Bay.
Love's in Green Bay. Yeah. Trey Lance.
Yep.
So
I think that probably depends on if you think you're getting Brock. They're saying 6 months, 6 to 9 months for Purdy. So,
I mean, do you keep a Jimmy G there that's experienced?
Yeah, but
knows what he's going to do, and you know what you're going to get out of it
right now. Before this draft, I think they can get him. If I remember right, he's got 1 year left on his contract, so they would not only risk that he got hurt or something, they would also risk losing him for nothing. You know, it just depends on what you think you got. If Lance can get you to where if Purdy's going to be back in time. You know, do you want to take a down year? You know, it's hard to pin down for sure. You know, what's in their mind and what they're thinking. But they're in a, not that the injuries are good, but they're in a good position because they got a lot of options, but they all come with some risk.
Yeah, I agree. And I mean, that's just one wild thing is that I wanted to point out. I mean, we started talking about San Francisco. Is you said the Rodgers could go there, and I'm like, well, but like they already have enough quarterbacks on that roster that can play football.
Yep.
So
But
we'll see.
but if they before Purdy got hurt, they said that was their guy going forward next year, and if they still believe that, if Rodgers only wants to come in on a 1 year deal, that makes a lot of sense, right? Okay, come on in. We don't have to rush this kid back. He can also learn from. I think Aaron Rodgers is a really really good quarterback, but I also think he's overrated. I don't think that he deserves to be mentioned in the same breath with Brady's and Manning's or even Favre, even though they each got one Super Bowl. But very, very good quarterback, right? Head case,
Yeah,
but whatever. Um, but if you can get him to come in for a year, maybe 2 years at a team's option, and you overpay him on the front end, um, it makes sense. But uh, in San Francisco, I think he's from that area too, if I remember correctly. But that's definitely his type of city. Seems to be right up his alley. So we'll see what happens.
yeah, we'll see. Like I said, we got a Super Bowl to still be played, and then on to the off season, which, as in any sport, off season is usually
How did we do on our picks last week?
no idea,
What's that?
no
Yeah,
idea.
pretty sure we were both 1-1, but I can't
Did
remember.
we?
I can't say 100%.
I don't. I didn't write them down. I'll go back and listen to it. Um, yeah, I mean, speaking of quarterbacks, we'll move in. Let's go ahead and have a little, just a little bit of fun here. Kind of rank our top 5 quarterbacks underneath Jim Harbaugh. I mean, I think he's had what 6 or 7.
At least 9, I think.
Like starting wise.
Yeah, I mean he's had Ruddock and Shea and Wilson Spate, Cade, Brandon
Peters,
Peters, right? Joe
O'Corn.
Milton, O'Corn,
I
Dylan
forgot about one
McCaffrey,
of them.
uh,
Yeah,
JJ. That's 9, I think.
yeah.
And I'm probably forgetting somebody.
I forgot about the season where we started like 8 different quarterbacks in 2017. Try to forget about that season, especially now. um, I will start at number 5 and kind of just go down each other's list one by one. Number 5, I got Wilton Speed. Dude was I've always been high on him. I think if he wouldn't have got hurt in 2016,
Yep.
I think it was really after he got hurt. He broke his collarbone. Kind of came back really quick. Came back
Yep.
really quick from it.
Pushed it too fast.
And I kind of think it messed him up for the good. I've said this before. I think if Wilton Speed doesn't get hurt in 2016, I think we are in the position that we're in way earlier than what we are.
Absolutely, I
Um,
agree.
I think we win that game in 2016 against Ohio State. I think we probably win. Obviously, we win the Big Ten that season because we all know the East doesn't lose the Big Ten championship game. But that's why I got a number 5. I think I've always been high on him. Is Wilton Spate.
Yep. Number 5, Cade McNamara.
Are you just saying this because he left and started shit?
So not necessarily because he started this shit. That's personal from stats. But as we talked about, and you so vehemently disagreed with me at first, for the first week or so, leaving as a team captain, as a team leader, Michigan football's identity is the winged helmet, and those who stay will be champions, right? Those are probably the first 2 things just about anybody who knows even a little bit about college sports thinks about when it comes to Michigan. And he bailed as a captain, and That he would probably be at 3 for me had he not be on there. I really don't want to even. I really didn't even want to mention his name or include him, but that would be just too biased.
You're really
So
gonna hate where I have him then.
yeah, am I a little bit petty about it? Absolutely, but I think that is when you look at the totality of the picture. I think that's a fair landing spot for him.
Yeah, I mean, I can see it. Especially, I mean, I know how you think about it. So, I mean, me knowing how you think about it makes me see it, at least on your side of it. But do I agree with number 5? No, I do not. Number 4, who you got? We'll start with you this time.
Wilton.
You got Wilton. Like I said,
Yeah,
I got.
for saying, for all the reasons you did. I think of all the people that we've had. We named 9 of them that he kind of got the least of the fair shake, and there's just more what ifs with him than anything, because
There's
I
a
do
lot.
think we probably win that Ohio State game, which means we probably win the conference, likely, right? Because as you said, the West can't beat the East, which probably means a thing in the college playoff, and it's just like the NCAA basketball tournament. Once you get in, who knows what happens, right? Momentum is a big thing. I think it's as big in college football as in any sport. I think it is a lot more important in college sports in general, but particularly in college football. We've seen that at the end of the Ohio State game this year. Boom, boom, boom. Lights out, So, and TCU did it to us. So, yeah, a lot of things, statistically, and, the, I don't know where he lines up, but I had this argument with myself while I was thinking about this last night, is that, Cade getting us our first Big Ten title and CFP performance, maybe it should put him ahead of him, but I just don't feel that way. But I can understand the argument.
Yeah. Like I said, I mean, and that not to kind of go off topic here a little bit, but that 2016 defense was absolutely insane.
Yep.
But so, like you said, who knows what would have happened? And number 4, I got Shea Patterson. I fucking hate the dude, but I don't even actually want to talk about him because I very much dislike Shea Patterson just as a player. He made a lot of stupid fucking mistakes. He was a quarterback that would either win you the ball game or lose you the ball game, in my opinion. He was somebody that kind of would either make the big play or couldn't make the big play. And I think, to me, the thing that really like itches at me is just the way. I mean, and I guess now that I look at it, it really wasn't the offense's fault, obviously. But it's really just the way we finished all those seasons with him is that we come into Ohio State back where we should be, coming in with the one loss, whatever, and we absolutely get dog rolled. I mean, I get that's on the defense, and honestly, the majority of those games, for the big part, were on the defense, but he didn't help the situation at all.
Exactly.
I remember saying when we played Alabama in the 16, what year was that? 2019 was his senior year.
I think so. Yep.
So it would have been Alabama in the Outback Bowl.
Right.
He threw his last interception. Me and Aaron were sitting on the couch in Spain watching the game, and I was so fucking never so happy that his last interception or his last pass at Michigan was an interception, because it's just how fitting his career was at Michigan. Was that he was just somebody that killed it. But out of all the quarterbacks that we've had, he's definitely, in the past few years, is definitely a top 5 quarterback in Michigan in the past 7 years.
I think you could make an argument of our most talented. I think it's him and JJ, and probably Joel Milton, right? But one of the things that stands out to me is I think it was his junior year, could have been his senior year too, is a couple times different coaches mentioned how he's out playing golf or instead of doing this or doing that, and I think that he shortchanged himself because he was living his life and enjoying his celebrity status. And hats off to him. I would have done the same shit at that age. So I'm not lying to anybody, but nowadays a lot of these, it's a job for these guys, and the difference between good and great is the guy that's obsessively practicing and lifting and trying to get better. And he was, I think, not just physically, but personality wise, like Johnny Manziel and
that's
Baker
a very
Mayfield,
very it's a very good way to explain it. A very good
and I think that hurt him. But yeah, that's where I got him as well as 3.
Oh, you have him at 3?
Yep.
All right, so I got Rudock at 3. I think he was a very big part. I mean, he was the first quarterback we'd seen in how long at Michigan, other that was consistent, really a true quarterback. I mean, really since all the Rich Rod and Hoke here. I mean, Denard, but Denard was
wasn't a pure
more.
quarterback,
That's
he
a
was a guy that could
conversation.
run with the wind that happened to be able to throw a little.
That's another conversation for another time that I think me and you could get into, and I think that'd be really fun to get into because I have other thoughts that I've been and they've recently came to me, but I don't want to drag that. That'll be like another 15-minute segment. Maybe
Right.
we'll add that to next week's episode.
There you go.
But I got Jake Rudock just because I mean he kind of was that turning point in different quarterbacks coming to Michigan, and a big pickup, really, especially for Harbaugh's first season.
Yeah,
to
for sure.
Kind of kickstart what we had going on. Number 2, I got Cade. I think the moral side of it, I was looking more at like stats, things like that, more than what you were looking at as. And again, like you said, took us to our first Big Ten championship, first playoff appearance, first Ohio State win in 9 years. I think that's more why I have him so high, more than the factor of like the factors why you listed.
Right.
Did his job. Didn't really have drama until now.
Right. And no, I mean, he did everything that we asked him to do. I think that I really believe that no matter if there was somebody else back there last year, 2 seasons ago, whatever, I guess, that the results would have been the same. And I wouldn't go as far to say that we won in spite of him, but I don't think that he really did a lot to change the course of the game one way or another, other than not fuck it up, right? Which is what he was asked to do.
And what me and you always talked about was getting a quarterback in there that wouldn't lose us the game.
Right. And he, we needed that for so long, and that's what he did. So hats off to him. But, it's funny. One of the things that he mentioned, he posted on Twitter during all the back and forth when people were ragging on him for going to Iowa, which I still don't understand, but whatever. Maybe that's the best offer he had. Is that he said something to the effect that they've assured me repeatedly that they're going to change the offense and do this and do that. And
I don't believe it when Kirk Ferentz fucking changes his offense.
So Kirk Ferentz just said a day or two ago that he wasn't going to be replacing any coordinators, and he said this, which is damning, and I get it, but I don't, is that he's like, when I was an assistant under 8 years under Hayden Fry, and he never one time fired a coordinator. And, the offensive coordinator, who's everybody at Iowa wants gone, is his son. He's really not getting rid of him. And so I wondered how Cade, especially, and probably Eric all too, feel about that. I mean, Iowa does a good job with their tight ends. They always have, right? Like, they put a lot of guys in the NFL, so I think Eric All will be just fine. But if Cade McNamara thought that they were going in and lighting it up down the field, that ain't happening. They're not going downfield. I would place a pretty good bet that his downfield shots go down from what they were at Michigan, let alone up, because they play more conservative than we do.
Yep. Yeah. No, I don't have any argument against that because, like I was about to say, I was like, Kirk Ferentz isn't changing his offense. It never has. He's been there for how long?
Right.
Is that probably going to be the death of him, especially if Matt Rule and Luke Fickell come in and absolutely dominate?
So I think he's why I don't know how old he is, but I got to believe that he's mid to late 60s, maybe even early 70s.
Oh, he's probably.
I think he's probably winding down anyways. But if both of those teams have success, I think that'll push them out, because the Iowa administration is very happy to be where they're at. Run a pretty clean program, right? Not a lot of controversy out of there. I can't remember anything off the top of my head. I'm sure everybody has something, so I'm sure there's something there. But and
he's 67.
Yeah, win 8-9 games a year and go to a decent bowl game and make some appearances in Indy, and they're good with that. The fan base isn't happy with that, but the administration is, and it's a lot. I kind of a good analogy to me is the Detroit Lions, even though they don't have the success that Iowa is the Iowa administration and the Ford family. They're pretty happy and pretty loyal with what they can get. And Michigan's been guilty of that too, right?
Yeah.
This is good enough. Let's just keep going. A lot of us thought that that's where we were with Harbaugh for a minute. Hey, we're not going to win 12, 13 games, but we're not going to be 7-5 or worse every year either. So we'll take the 8, 9, 10 win seasons all day long. So we'll see what happens. So, excuse me, did you say your number 2 yet?
Yeah, that's who it was. It was Cade.
Okay. JJ.
I really want to know why the fuck you're saying that.
JJ number 2?
Yeah, I want to know who's number 1 in your fucking book. So go ahead and just continue on.
So if we're going on potential, right? I think JJ is a clear number 1. Joe Milton would probably be number 2. But JJ led us and helped win us some games, right, to 13-0. But my number 1, I think, gave us the most complete season the quarterback has given us since Harbaugh has been here.
Don't even fucking say it. Because I just realized who you haven't said yet, and I'm about to blow the fuck up.
Who?
Just keep going.
No, I've said what I need to say about number 2.
No, I'm just saying you just said my number 1. I want to hear your number 1 now.
Well, who's your number 2?
Cade.
Are you fucking serious? Okay, who's your number 1?
We already talked about this. JJ. Right. It's obviously JJ. I mean, I'm going to fucking go off. You say exactly, because if I fucking remember correctly, I'm not going to say it because I'm pretty sure you haven't said this motherfucker yet. And the look on your goddamn face.
Who do you think I'm going to say?
I swear to God, if you say fucking Shea Patterson, I'm going to fucking strangle you.
I already said Shea.
Oh, okay, thank God. I couldn't remember, and I was like, oh, my blood was fucking boiling.
Honestly, I think you could make a pretty good argument for him, but my number 1's Jake Rutta.
That's fine. I can deal with that. He was my number 3, and the only reason he wasn't higher is because the Big Ten championships. Oh, man, my blood.
I fully expect JJ to exceed that this year, but, to me, JJ's played at a pretty high level this year, right? But I still don't think that he's tapped into his full potential, and I expect that we'll see that this year. Time will tell. I got no problem with JJ being number one, really, but I don't think he's quite earned that yet. I do think he will be, but I don't think he's fully earned it yet.
Yeah, I see. My argument. I mean, I guess I'm kind of looking into the future when I have him there, but off the stats that he had this year, is that, in my opinion, the only way's up for him still. Because I promise you that kid hasn't hit his ceiling.
Right.
And he's the
Where
only way
Ruddock, that was probably about as good as he's gonna get, right?
Yeah, fifth-year senior coming out of Iowa.
Yep.
I mean,
I don't. Cade probably hit his ceiling too, but I don't think any other quarterback under Harbaugh has. I think we probably gave up on Milton too early.
good.
But
if we would have stuck with Milton, it would have been the death of our program, I think, again.
He needed to go for a lot of reasons. There was a lot of problems there, right? He needed to grow up, and it sounds like he has down in Tennessee. So good for him. But
hang on a second. Sorry, I was thought I was smelling smoke or something. So sorry. I wanted to make sure. Didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're good. I said what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I mean it's. I think, like you said, I can see why Rudock is your number one. But dude, you should have fucking felt the blood that was boiling in my fucking bones and my body at that moment. Because I hadn't heard you, like, I couldn't remember if you said Shay or not, and I was gonna go off. And honestly, if you would have just said it anyways, I wouldn't have recognized it, and it would have been hilarious. But oh yeah, that almost got me good. I was gonna say one thing, I don't remember. Fuck it. But yeah, I think like I said, we did, I guess, a little bit shorter of a show today than what we've been doing.
Off season, now really the only thing going on is the NBA and the NHL, and our teams aren't really.
Well, right now
really
the
doing
NHL's
good.
on All-Star break.
Let's predict the Super Bowl real quick before we hit off. Who you got?
I was gonna do it next week, but
that's okay.
Fine.
We'll wait till next week.
I mean, I was just gonna say because it's Super Bowl weekend, but I mean we can do it now. It's not a big deal. Eagles Chiefs. This early. Fuck the Eagles, go Chiefs. I hate both the teams, honestly. Neither one of these teams I wanted to get in the fucking Super Bowl.
You want to fuck the bird of America that represents our freedom?
No, I want to fucking tell Philadelphia to fuck off and their whole fucking fan base.
Eagles. It's a symbol of America.
The Philadelphia Eagles. You know what the fuck I mean? The whole fucking fan base. God, I can't stand them motherfuckers.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
They have one fucking Super Bowl. It's a fluke.
Brandon Graham, baby.
Yeah, there's okay, you want to go with that? Michael Dana and fucking Frank Clark.
Chad Henne.
I'm sorry. Yeah, there's 3 on the Chiefs compared to 1 on. I don't even know how many are on the Eagles, but I think there's only 1. I think it's just Brandon Graham now. Can we hang on real quick? Can we talk about how long for a defensive lineman Brandon Graham's been playing football? He came out the same. Yeah, he came out the same year Henne did. I mean, I get Henne playing this long as a backup, but right. Jesus.
Playing at a pretty decent level too,
And I mean, I might as well just go there real quick. I know I'm trying to cut off, but if you look at the success that Michigan has and like defensive linemen are having in the NFL since even people that played in
that one is
2015, even like before Harbaugh, it's all different.
I'll be done in just a minute, bud.
But I mean, in my opinion, I mean, and defensive line wise, Michigan's produced the most constant stream of defensive linemen for 20 years now, almost.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it seems like Michael Dana. I mean, you look at any defensive line in the NFL right now, there's more than likely a Michigan player. So, and it's going to continue this year.
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
Mike Morris and people like him and coming out. So, but all right, guys. Again, extended our promo contest the next week. Let you guys have another opportunity to get in on that. Make sure you like our page, follow our page. So whatever one you do, make sure of it, and like and share either this week's podcast or last week's podcast for us, and that'll get your name into the drawing. And 100% next week getting drawn. Make sure to go check out our social media. Facebook at Tall and Taller, Tag TNT, Twitter at Tall and Taller 11. Go check out our TikTok at Tall and Taller 44. Go check us out on YouTube at Tall and Taller 528, and we can also be found on Spotify, Google Podcast, and Anchor. Make sure to go ahead and share us around, and hope you all have a great weekend and go blue.
Like, share, follow. Hell,